Hello everyone, and welcome to the Stalwart Initiative. In honor of our upcoming series on multiclassing, I figured it'd be a good idea to go over the ruling for spellcasting in regards to multiclassing. Here we go. You can follow along on page 164 in the Player's Handbook. Also is covered under there. Your capacity for spellcasting depends partly on your combined levels in all of your spellcasting classes, and partly on your individual levels in those classes. Once you have the spellcasting feature for more than one class, use the rules below. If you multiclass but have the spellcasting feature from only one class, you follow the rules as described in that class. Basically meaning you only have to follow these multiclassing spellcasting rules if you have two casting classes. But if you have something like a bard and a barbarian, then you don't have to follow these rules because barbarians can't cast spells. Okay, first section, and one of the more confusing, is spells known and prepared. You determine what spells you know and can prepare for each class individually, as if you were a single-classed member of that class. Let's say if you are a ranger, a 4th level ranger, 3rd level wizard, for example, you know 3 first level ranger spells based on your levels in the ranger class. And as a 3rd level wizard, you know 3 wizard cantrips, and your spellbook contains 10 wizard spells, 2 of which can be 2nd level spells. So, as far as spells known and spells prepared, some classes, like sorcerers and bards, are spells known classes, meaning that they know a certain number of spells, and that's what they can cast until they level up. They gain more spells as they level, and you can also exchange a spell every time you level up. So one spell you know, you can exchange it for one that you don't know and just interchange those out. But that's it. Now, spells prepared classes such as druids and clerics can exchange after every long rest. They prepare a list of spells based on their class, their entire spell list. They prepare a list of spells for that day. So that makes them a little more versatile. And it says here, if your intelligence is 16 and you can prepare 6 wizard spells from your spell book. So prepared spells are based off of your ability score modifier, whatever your casting ability score modifier is. For wizards, it's intelligence. For clerics, it is wisdom. For paladins, it's charisma. But yeah, so it's for wizards, it's intelligence, and your ability score modifier at a 16 is 3. So you can prepare 3 spells plus your levels in wizard. So since you're a 3rd level wizard, you prepare 3 spells for your wizard level and 3 from your ability modifier. So that's a total of 6 wizard spells from your spell book that you can prepare each day. So each spell you know and prepare is associated with one of your classes, and you use the spellcasting ability of that class when you cast the spell. That means that if you're the ranger wizard, as described up there, when you cast a ranger spell, you have to use your wisdom modifier, because that's what rangers use to cast spells, to do those spells. And when you cast wizard spells, you have to use your intelligence modifier to cast those wizard spells. You can't mingle there. Similarly, a spellcasting focus, such as a holy symbol, can be used only for the spells from the class associated with that focus. Meaning, if you have a holy symbol for a cleric class and a druid symbol for a druid class, or a druid focus for a druid class, you can't use the holy symbol to cast your druid spells. You have to have that druid focus available. So next up, if a cantrip of yours increases in power at higher levels, the increase is based on your character level, not your level in a particular class. This goes with all cantrips normally. Cantrips scale based on your character level and not your class level. So that's really cool in that if you only have a couple levels in a spellcasting class that gives you cantrips, you can those cantrips will scale the same with you. If you go into a different class, like a barbarian or a fighter or a monk or whatever, you'll still be able to use those cantrips at higher levels, and they'll scale the same. Pretty cool. Next up, let's talk about spell slots. So you determine your available spell slots by adding together all of your levels in Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard classes. These are your full spellcasting classes, and so you add all their levels together, and half of your levels rounded down in Paladin and Ranger classes. And it doesn't say this in the player's handbook, but also Artificer classes, as well, because they are also half-casters like Paladin and Ranger classes. So since they're half-casters, you only add half their level to this pool. And a third of your Fighter and Rogue levels rounded down if you have the Eldritch Knight or Arcane Trickster feature. So if you're either of those subclasses, they're considered third casters, so you only add a third of your total levels in that class to this pool when determining your character's multiclassing spellcasting level. So if this is in the future and they've released other, additional classes or subclasses, read those particular classes or subclasses individually to know whether they're a full caster, half caster, or third caster, so you know which how many levels to add. Use this total to determine your spell slots by consulting the Multiclass Spellcaster table. It's on page 165 in the player's handbook. I'll put it on screen here, and this is how you determine how many spell slots you have. You add up your levels in these classes. If you have more than one spellcasting class, this table might give you spell slots of a level that is higher than the spells you know or can prepare. You can use those slots, but only to cast your lower level spells. If a lower level spell that you cast, like Burning Hands, has an enhanced effect when you cast using a higher level slot, you can use the enhanced effect even though you don't have any spells of that higher level. For example, if you are the aforementioned 4th level Ranger / 3rd level Wizard, you count as a 5th level character when determining your spell slots. And I'll just explain this. So, Wizards are full casters, so you count all 3 of your levels of Wizards. Rangers are only half casters, so you count half your Ranger levels, rounded down. So if you're 4th level Ranger, you only count 2 of those levels towards this, towards your total caster level, and you add that to your 3 levels of Wizards. So that makes you a 5th level character when determining your spell slots. You have 4 1st level slots, as on the chart here, 3 2nd level slots, and 2 3rd level slots. However, you don't know any 3rd level spells, nor do you know any 2nd level Ranger spells. You can use the spell slots of those levels to cast the spells that you do know, and potentially enhance their effects. Meaning, for like Ranger, you can only cast 1st level Ranger spells. So let's say you want to cast Cure Wounds as a Ranger. You can cast that using one of your 3rd level slots, and you can cast it as a 3rd level Cure Wounds spell. So you're being able to upcast, even though you don't know any 3rd level Ranger spells, you can still cast it because your total character or your total caster level is high enough that allows you to have 3rd level slots. That's pretty cool. I like that. Makes you a little more versatile if you're not quite up to par with some of those, lower level classes that you've dipped into. So here's another fun section: Pact Magic. So if you have both the spellcasting class feature and the Pact Magic class feature from the Warlock class, you can use the spell slots you gain from the Pact Magic feature to cast spells you know or have prepared from the classes with spellcasting class feature. And you can use the spell slots you gain from the spellcasting class feature to cast Warlock spells you know. Ugh, confusing, huh? So this basically means that Pact Magic Warlocks use a different system of casting spells because their spells reset. They gain their spell slots back after a short rest. So they're a little bit different. You tally them up separately. So you do all everything we mentioned above for spellcasting classes, and then that is completely separate from Pact Magic. But you can intermingle the slot usage. So let's say you're an 8th level character, right? And you have 5 levels into Warlock, and you have 3 levels into Ranger. We were talking about Ranger before. So a 5th level Warlock has 2 spell slots, 2 3rd level spell slots. That's what they always cast at their highest level. So they have 2 third-level spell slots, and a third-level ranger only has 3 first-level slots, right? You can cast the Cure Wounds. You can cast that at 3rd level. You can use one of those Warlock slots and cast it at 3rd level. Now, that's using a Warlock slot, so if you use your Cure Wounds to cast it at 3rd level, that's going to reset on a short rest. That's pretty cool. And it works the other way around, too. Let's say you're a Warlock, you're the 5th level Warlock, and you want to, you're out of Warlocks, or, you want to use Armor of Agathis, right, as a 1st level Warlock spell, but you don't have any more Warlock spell slots left. You can use one of your 1st level Ranger spell slots to cast Armor of Agathis, your Warlock spell. So they can intermingle that way. Pretty cool. So that's it. Yeah, those are the basic rules on spellcasting with multiclassing. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, as we have a lot of multiclassing stuff coming up. And yeah, it's going to be fun to tinker around with that. And yeah, I'll catch you one next time. Take care of each other, and have a good one.